Hello guys, welcome to another session. In this session, we are going to look into how to create an interactive form that user can use to provide the information on the web. So here you must be asking that what actually the HTML form is. So in a simple term, I can say that HTML form is a document which stores information of a user on a web server. Using interactive controls, and we can design the HTML form with the use of various elements of HTML. So in this example, we are going to create an HTML form that is for simple registration process, and this registration form contains the username and the email ID. Once the user provided the information, he clicks on the submit button and that is being submitted. In this example, we are going to print the submitted information on the console. So let's jump into the Visual Studio Code to see all these things in action. So we are into the Visual Studio Code, and if you look into that, then you will find over here there is nothing there. So we need to create three things. The first thing we want to create the index.html, we can tell index.html. Afterwards we need to specify style.css. We will provide some style to the HTML page. This is going to be our form, and along with that we will also create a JavaScript file called script.js file. So let's generate the HTML now. So I'm going to generate the HTML5 code. So how we will do that? We need to specify the snippet HTML5. So this will generate the boilerplate code. Now to associate the CSS and the script file, what we need to do? We need to specify over here link, and here we need to specify style.css, and to associate the JavaScript file we need to specify over here script src and script.js. So now both the file is incorporated into this HTML document. So let's create the registration form. So first we need to write form tag, and over here we need to specify the field which we want to keep into the form. So I am going to keep the input that is of type username. This is going to be a text input, and over here we need to specify the ID. We will tell that this is going to be the username, and then we need to specify the placeholder so that it will look like it is for username. So we will tell that placeholder equal to username. Once it is being done, one for email ID. So let's write it. Let's copy it so that it would be better, and then we need to specify over here email, make it a smaller case, and after that we need to specify the input type, that is a submit button. So we need to tell that input, and this time I want the submit button, and the value which I want to keep it is the submit. So let's write it submit. Now we have created the form. Save it. Now let's look into that how it look like. So our form look like this. So to make it little beautiful, what we will do, we will write some CSS. So let's write it. So now let's go to the CSS file, and over here we will specify that I want form should be of maximum width of 300 pixel, and margin I want to keep it for top and bottom 40 pixel, and for left and right it should be auto. Background I want to keep white, and padding of 10 pixel for top and bottom, as well as the left and right padding of 10 pixel. Now let's do some formatting for input field. I want input, it is coming up in line, so let's make it block now. So I want display should be block so that it will look like a stacked block. Margin I want to keep 10 pixel for top and bottom, and auto for left and right. Padding I want to keep 4 pixel. Let's apply some background color of the entire body. So we can tell that body background color should be this. Look good. Save it. Now let's look into the HTML form how it look like. So let's save it. Now jump into the browser. So now our form will look something like this after applying CSS. So now let's add some functionality to this form. So whenever I click on submit button after filling out this form, then it will be print into the console. But prior to that, I wanted to show you one thing over here. If you write something over here, and if you are clicking on this submit, it is taking me some other places which I don't want. So this is the default behavior. I want to stop this default behavior first, then I want to apply my own logic. So how we can do that? Let's look into that. So the first step, we need to define a class for this form. So I am going to tell that class, and over here we will tell that registration-form. So this is our class name. Now we will grab this class, and then we will apply the JavaScript. So how we will do that? Let's look into. So first we will tell that as usual const and we will tell that form, and I want to grab the registration form class. So how we can do that? We need to tell document dot query selector, and over here we need to specify that class. So take the copy of it and paste it over here, save it. Now we have grabbed the reference of the registration form. Now the next step, what we need to do, we need to add the event listener. So let's add it, form dot add event listener, and we need to handle the submit event. And what we want to prevent the default style. So one thing I wanted to let you know that whenever you perform any action, it generates an object that is called event object, and we need to pass that event object. How we can pass it? We need to specify e as a parameter. So now we are passing this event as a parameter. So this contains a method called prevent default behavior. So let's use it, e dot prevent default, and once you will do it, so let's look into that what will happen. So let's jump into the browser, but prior to that you should make sure that you are using dot over here. So save it. Now let's jump into the browser to see the output. So now if you click over here and if you will submit it, then it is not taking it to the other location, and that means it is not behaving with the default behavior. So now let's proceed further. And what we will do, we will grab the information which is being entered over here, and we will print it into the console. So let's do it. So what we need to do, we need to specify the reference which we have grabbed form, and within that we need to grab the username, the ID of, so this is the ID, we should grab it, and we want the value within that. So there is a property called value, and we will grab it. And what we will do, we will console log it, console log, save it, make another copy of it, and this time we will print over here email. So now let's look into the output, how it comes. So let's provide our input over here. For example, if I'm going to write David, and over here I can tell David at xyz.com and submit. Once we submit it, let's look into what actually it prints into the console. So how we can check it? We need to press F12, and then you will find that it has printed it into console. Same way, if you want to change it over here, for example, if you want to change it to John, let's do it, and over here we can tell that John submit, then you will find that it is displaying into the console the provided information which we have provided into this form. We can handle this in a different way. For example, if you want to submit it into the database, that we will cover later, but for a time being, just I am printing it into the console. So let's jump into the Visual Studio Code. So prior to wrapping up the session, I wanted to iterate that what we have done, we have created an HTML file which contains a form and which contains two different input elements. One is for username and another one is for email. Along with that, we are having an input button that is for submit, and then we have handled this. To make our form look beautiful, we have also created the style.css, and after that we have created the script.js. Within that, first we have removed the default behavior of the form by using this prevent default method of event, and afterward we are taking the reference of the username and the email which is being provided by the user, and we are printing it into the console. So I hope you have enjoyed this session. So this is what I wanted to demonstrate. So on this note, I am stopping over here. See you in the next session. Till then, bye bye, take care.